Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today is a special call meeting of the Commissioner Court of Texas, Hood County, Texas. Today is August the 19th, 2022. It's 8 a.m. We're in the Ralph Walton Junior Justice Center at the Central Jury Room at 1200 West Pearl Street, Granbury, Texas. The agenda today is to discuss the proposed 2023 budget and take appropriate action if necessary. May convene into executive session. Ms. Kidd, how to give us an overview here, please.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. You've all received a copy of the budget. There have been a few changes since you've received this. My assistant is bringing those over. I forgot them on my desk. I think there were 4 or 5 on there. This budget reflects a tax rate that you could, the 0.329. I can reduce it, but I understood to try to leave it at that. I'm never really confident in the information we receive from the Hood Central Appraisal District. It always makes me worry. But this is mainly so the departments can come and talk about if they have any issues with their budget or their salary. I wanted to make sure that they had the opportunity to see where we were. Thank you. And that's where we are, sir. I think it's a good budget. I think the salaries are good. We've worked hard to get here. Everybody gets a raise. I have plenty in contingency. I have cut a lot out, but I do have a hefty sum in contingency if there are any issues. I did increase, prior to you getting this budget, I increased the out-of-county prisoners by another 40,000 because that's a concern. I increased fuel way back, health insurance, and any other items that I knew would be going up. And then I cut everywhere I could. But I will pass this out real quick. These are just ones I can remember.
Thank you.
And I discussed these with one or more of you. I didn't just invent this on my own. So if there are any questions regarding the budget to me, speak now.
Well, we've got some people here that want to speak on here, so let's go ahead and see what they have.
Okay.
Any questions? Don't go anywhere.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Mr. Haddon.
What line item am I talking about?
County Court at Law.
Good morning, Commissioners. Just wanted to quickly address the court. I have to be in district court next door. The assistant court coordinator, I believe the position is called for the county court at law. Y'all currently have it in the budget at 42. I'm requesting that it go up to at least 48. I had asked for more, but willing to concede back to 48. If you went from 42 to 48, it would still be less than the assistant coordinator's position in the district court. I'm doing that just because I intend to hire and hope to hire someone that I believe would be, pay would be appropriate for skill level, appropriate for experience, and maybe do a better job, if I can, with that position that's been done in the past. There may be some concern about the workload at that position. I've had some feedback on that. That's easy to fix. We can take on other responsibilities, share responsibilities, do a better job with the responsibilities that are. We'll turn that position around and make it better for the county. But I'm going to be required to pay someone to get in that skill level and experience level, and I don't believe I can do it at 42. We pay for what we get. I can bring someone in that you'd be proud of if you could give me at least 48 on that line item. Other than that, have no other comment on your budget. Any questions at all?
I just want to make sure it's the assistant district court coordinator.
Assistant county court at law. The district court, assistant district court, you have it over 50,000. I'm asking for 48 for the same position for the county court at law. Be somewhat.
I'm looking at the right one.
County Court at Law, Mr. Cotton. One thing I sure do is put her in charge of seeing what that jail population is every day. I know that's a concern for the court. We intend to target that and work on it very hard for you. Any questions at all? I'll yield the podium. Thank you.
Thank you. Nanette Samuelson.
Good morning, Commissioners, Judge. At the last court, there was a vote on a proposed tax rate of .329. And prior to the vote, there was a discussion on how to set a budget at that, at .329. The initial budget presented by the auditor was set at .331, and she indicated, as she has stated today, that she would need to reduce the proposed budget by $100,000 to align to the
It's more than that, it's 209,000.
209,000. So that was an estimate, which I know off the cuff probably was not exactly correct. So first, let me say that I know there's a lot of moving parts to any budget. I've managed budgets before for IT departments, audit and marketing departments, and I know it's stressful and tedious, and I want to say thank you to Becky for finding a way to come to the .329. Obviously, I didn't know that until I got here to see what the results were going to be. So some of my comments may not apply anymore, since it looks like she's been successful to come up with a budget at .329. So thank you for that. As she stated, there are some areas that have contingency in them. There are a couple line items in the general admin department. One is called general admin that has increased a lot over the last 2 years. And then there's another one called general admin contingency that has also grown. And so maybe that's where I don't have a copy of the only budget I have is the one that is on the web that was the original proposed budget. So I'm not aware of where that's been cut, but I do look at that and see that it's especially on the contingency in 2022, it was set at $142,000. In 2021, it was $74,000. So that was almost a doubling of that budget. And in the budget that I am allowed, see the public, it was set at $250,000 for 2023. So that may be where she found some areas to cut. But with those two items, just those two line items, I feel like there's a way to get to what she needed to cut. So maybe that's what she did. So let's put this in perspective. A $100,000 reduction on a $37 million budget is not 1%. It's not a 1/2 of 1%. It's a 1/4 of 1%. I feel confident that the 5 of you, along with Ms. Kidd, the county auditor, will find a way to reduce the proposed budget by a 1/4 of 1% to provide taxpayers with an almost net zero increase. Taxpayers are being hit on all sides. It costs 8 to 9% more just to house, feed, and clothe their children, not to mention gas prices up 23%. And there's this that was published in June from David Fagan, Senior Policy Associate from Early Childhood for Texans Care for Children. In a time where Texas families are spending more and more on essential goods like housing and food and gas, the average Texas family is spending nearly $16,000 a year on child care, which, to put that in perspective, is more than they would spend a year in tuition at UT Austin. You have a rare opportunity to do a win-win here. You can approve a budget that gives the taxpayers a near net zero, as Ms. Kidd has suggested, the .329 is a good budget. She feels confident in it, while also providing the county with over $1 million in increased revenue for essential county services, along with substantial raises for the county employees. I urge you to work hard to lower the proposed expenses and tighten the county's belt the same way that taxpayers who provided this money are doing at home. Remember, it's all taxpayer money.
Okay, Mr. Ron Roberts.
Morning, Ron.
Morning. How y'all doing? I have a question, and it's on page 1 of the proposed budget, and it's line, it's an account number 3340-5000, state sales tax. In 2021, we forecasted 3.9 million, and it actually came in the revenue of 5.404 million, a difference of 1,504,000. My first question is, who figures this, but who forecasts this budget?
That would be me.
You do? Okay.
With the help of
And the commissioners, I guess, counsel with her. That's a pretty, to me, that's a pretty big miss. Now, you go to 2022, even though we missed it by $1.5 million, we only up the forecast to $4,100,000. If you extrapolate where we are at the end of July, 3.9 million, this is going to come out to be 2,615,000 miss. That's another bit. That's a bigger miss than the year before. If you go to 2023, we've only upped it another 100,000 when we've missed this one by $2.5 million. My question is, where does that money go to that comes in more than we've estimated? And number two is, how can we miss it that far? When you miss something nearly 50% and haven't been a owner of businesses, that's a pretty serious miss when you're trying to figure out a budget.
Ms. Kidd, you want to address that?
On, I believe, 3 separate occasions, we were overpaid sales tax. It was so much one year that they financed it, us paying it back. So I'm very careful on this. This year, the same thing happened. We had to pay $300 and some odd thousand back last month because they overpaid us. I talked to the court and asked how much you want me to increase this, and that's generally what we go by. And we could probably bring this up, but when the money we have over this amount, because this reduces sales, this reduces your property tax amount, what comes in over that, we pay to our retirement. If they have a bad year, we're going to have a bad year, which we did 2 years ago. And we had to come up with a hefty sum of money to pay them. But if I pay them the excess every year, we're good on our retirement. I don't have to come up with money at the last minute and really hurt the budget. So that is where all of this excess money goes,
Okay.
to fund our retirement.
Back in 2021, how much did they overpay us? That $5,404,000.
Well, it wasn't
How much
in
did we have to
21.
back?
It wasn't in 21.
So that one's right in 21.
That one is right in 21.
Okay. And so this year, where we're looking like, we're going to do 6.7 million in taxes.
I don't believe we'll be that close.
Now, I'm just extrapolating to what we are in July. That's the only
You're going
way.
to have to take out the 300,000 that we just
Right.
paid back.
So that would
I
be,
think it was 380.
okay, so if you don't pay back any more, it's still going to be over 2 million, right?
Well, we can pay off, there's only 2 things you can do with that money. You can pay off debt or liabilities, and that's why we put that money into our retirement plan. That just keeps it flowing, and I don't have to come up with additional monies if they have a bad year.
Okay.
It kind of evens itself out. But that's the only thing you can do with additional monies, is pay off debt, and our debt is in excellent shape. We will pay off another loan in January, and all we will owe then is, I believe, the Justice Center about $5 million, and the Crescent Bypass a little, might be even less than $5 million now.
Right.
So that's,
So that money goes to retirement that we miss it by.
no, it goes to retirement so that we don't have to
What, but that's all I'm asking is where that money goes to.
retirement.
Okay. Okay, that was my question. Thank you.
Okay, that's all the public participation forms that I have. Is that correct, Sheriff? Nothing else? Correct. Yes, ma'am.
We have a couple of employee dollar amounts that we need to talk about.
Okay.
So at this time, I would ask that you go into executive session so we can discuss this.
Okay. This time at 8:20, the Commissioners Court is convening into executive session. Now 9:30, and we are reconvening back into Commissioners Court. In executive session, we were discussing individual salaries, and that was the purpose of going into the executive session. And what has come out of this executive session is that our county auditor, Ms. Becky Kidd, will have posted sometime today online our proposed budget for 2023. Then we will be voting on this budget then Tuesday, this coming Tuesday. So stay tuned, and that's all the business that we have at this special call meeting today. I hereby adjourn the meeting. Thank you all for coming.